Hi guys! Today I'm gonna be talking about job opportunities at Japanese company in overseas. If you are interested in Japanese language or you study Japanology at university, of course you want to utilize your Japanese language skill or what you study in job. And there are usually two ways. One is you go to Japan and live there. This is kind of simple way. And the second one is you look for job opportunities in your country, so outside Japan. And many Japanese companies have subsidiaries worldwide, like Toyota, Sony, Panasonic, Toshiba, I don't know, there are so many Japanese companies outside Japan. So it means that you have chances to find job opportunity there. But you might wonder, what kind of requirements should I have? What kind of diploma should I have to apply for those companies? This is exactly what I want to explain today. First of all, it's not bad for you to have an overview. What kind of Japanese companies there are in your area? Let's take an example in Europe. This table is adapted by Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Japan, and you can see that Germany is the #1 country in which the Japanese subsidiaries are present. And the number of enterprises about 1.8k, and those companies are in the distributor, retailer, and manufacturer industry mainly. And after Germany, UK, France, Russia are following. Overall, I can say that in Europe, I think this is the same also as worldwide. Manufacturer, distributor, and retailer are dominating the industry. This comes from Japanese market characteristic, I think, because Toyota, Mazda, so car manufacturer or computer manufacturer like Toshiba, Panasonic, and so on, electronic products. These are very famous worldwide, and that is why manufacturer and also distributor dominating the industry. And from those knowledge, I can say that I will find a job opportunity in manufacturer or distributor more easily than gastronomy and so on. And now we come to the main point. So what kind of requirement, what kind of diploma should you have if you want to a position at Japanese companies outside Japan? So please look at this development stages of subsidiaries. This table or this picture is adapted by Autonomy and Procedure Justice, a framework for evaluating subsidiary strategy done by James Taggart. So he mentioned in his paper there are 8 development stages for any kind of subsidiaries, and in each stages there are different types of requirements, and they require different positions in the local area. Let me go through all stages one by one. So stage 1, in establishing phase, the company starts to establish a new subsidiary in a country, let's say in Germany, and then in this period, the company don't expect so much turnover, but firstly they would like to cultivate the market, start a business and make it stable. So this is the stage 1. And the second, after the cultivation of the market, they want to achieve the target. And in this phase, they want to have a good turnover. And many companies already have a short, mid, and long-term target in sales amount. Let's say 1 million euro a year, and in 3 years, 5 million euro a year, something like that. In stage 2, the subsidiary should achieve at least the target which was set by headquarters. In stage 3, the subsidiary succeeded to exceed the original target in sales amount, let's say unexpectedly. And from stage 4, the subsidiary is developing and now expanding its business not only in their country but to other countries near Germany in this case. So the German subsidiary starts to selling its product to France, Italy, Czech Republic, Poland, and so on. In stage 5, after the expansion, they make the bigger turnover in other countries as well, which means in France they started with trial, kind of pilot project, but okay, they are doing great. Now we have stable business every year, certain amount of turnover is generated, something such. So in stage 4 and 5, the subsidiary is expanding their business not only in the local country but to other countries near the country. From stage 6, the power subsidiary is significantly increased. It means if the subsidiary makes a big loss, then this will give big impact to headquarters as well. And headquarters will probably make or produce dedicated products only for those markets. Until stage 5, headquarters might say to subsidiary, we cannot invest so much money for you because it's too risky, and the turnover in your market is actually limited, so we cannot make any dedicated product. But from stage 6, okay, your market is doing great and your turnover is contributing so much to entire company, so we make dedicated product only for Germany. I don't know which product can be, like camera, cars, but there are certain functions that is only good for Germany but not really useful for Japanese people or Brazilian market, Indian market. So this is a dedicated product. And stage 8, this is kind of partnership subsidiary. Let's say usually the headquarter has power and they can say yes or no. In stage 8, they have their position is kind of equal. So they can also say like we want to do this because this is very important for our market and for entire company. Then headquarter will listen to it and also react accordingly. So this is the overall of stage 8. And what I want to say from now on is in each stage there are different requirements. What kind of skill, what kind of diploma you should have. I will introduce from now on. So firstly, stage 1. Let me repeat the characteristic again. Usually recently established. Performance still less than satisfactory, but often still expatriate management. Expatriate is someone who comes from headquarters. So, and the position needed, assistant of the expatriate, secretary of the expatriate. Usually the Japanese expatriate are not good at speaking English, and if it's local language, it's impossible, like German or I don't know, Spanish, Thailandish, and so on. That is why the expatriate needs someone who assists him or her. And this assistant should be able to speak Japanese language and having cultural understanding. And of course, because she must do many types of work, Excel, Word, and PowerPoint is also required, and work experience is a little bit required. It doesn't have to be like the work experience as sales professional or management, but like internship or part-time job is required because assistant must also communicate with business people, with local customers. And now let's come to the stage 2. I will repeat the characteristic again. Reach the basic results, so like cost and sales, and little criticism of the performance from parent. But it's not seen as a reference site yet. It means that if there are some subsidiaries in Germany, in Brazil, in USA, if German subsidiary is doing great, then it will be a reference to the other areas. But in stage 2, not yet. And the position needed, secretary of the expatriate, sales assistant, and sales. Because the business is running and making good profit, so achieving the target, they need salesperson, local people, key account manager, let's say. And for those people, language skill is not really required, but more specific skill here you can see. More specific skill here you can see. So for sales, maybe specific diploma is needed, like economic, MBA for example. There is a still needs for secretary of the expatriate, and for the secretary, of course, language skill and cultural understanding is required. Now, stage 3, the characteristic exceeding original expectations and seen by parent company as a reference site. So it will be referred to Brazilian subsidiary or Indian subsidiary. Still engaged only in basic original mandate. So they sell only the product in Germany. So start from only in certain country. And the position needed. Okay, now other specific job is added. Here I mean like logistic or accounting. If it's manufacturer, logistic and accounting are important. If it's engineering, the engineer is important. If it's design industry, then designer is important. If it's IT company, then maybe programmer, software engineer is important. But this is difficult to say about secretary. This is depending on company actually. But there are still needs for secretary for other specific job as well. Let's come to stage 4, characteristic. Fulfilling the mandate in a superior way and carrying out an activity with some future potential which is outside the original mandate. Position needed, sales assistant, sales, other specific job, manager. So in stage 4, because they are starting selling to other countries as well, so German subsidiary expand their business to France, Italy, UK, Czech Republic, Poland and so on. That is why in this scale, business scale, the assistant, secretary are not really required anymore. But from this stage, the manager can be localized as well. So not more expatriate. That is why for management or the specific job, the work experience is very much needed and specific diploma is asked as well. Now stage 5. Characteristic, fulfilling the mandate in a superior way, performing an activity beyond the original mandate, and continual expansion of the basic mandate with added value, and closure of the subsidiary would represent a significant loss. Position required is not much different from stage 4, but I'm going to explain a bit more here about here. The language skill is not really required, but cultural understanding is important. Because a manager or salesperson need to communicate with headquarters or with CEO, which is Japanese person. If CEO is Japanese person, the cultural understanding will help you to talk with them, to communicate with them when you must report, because the culture is different. But basically, language skill is in this stage not more required. From stage 6 to 8, the characteristic, having a significant position in terms of the worldwide operations of the parent company. Engaged in virtually all the key function areas, R&D and strategy. All major decisions related to the business are now made in the location. So in stage 6 and 8, the position is quite strong in these companies. So to the headquarters as well. So the voice is very strong. And in these stages, the CEO can be localized as well. And if CEO is localized as well, then the salesperson, sales assistant don't need language skill anymore. Cultural understanding is also not really needed because the bosses and manager, CEO are all localized. You have no contact, touch point with Japanese people. But for manager and CEO, cultural understanding is required because they have to report to headquarters. They have to talk with headquarters as well. We've gone through all stages and now we can see, I'm gonna scroll all stages again from stage 1 and you can see that language skill is more required at earlier stage and the later stage, management skill and specific skill is more required. I'm going back again. So let me summarize today's topic again. So the requirement skills, what kind of position there are. This is depending on the development stage of the subsidiary, not depending on the length or the existence of the company in your country. And the common important points for all stages, work experience is always required, also including internship or part-time job. Because even for secretary or assistant, they need to communicate with local customers, they need to write business email, they need to have phone calls. So a little bit of internship experience will help. And the second common point is basic computer skill is also required, PowerPoint, Excel, and so on. And understanding Japanese culture is always plus, both for company and applicant. You have seen that Japanese skill is sometimes not required. And in the later stage 6, 7, 8, the Japanese skill is not really required. However, Japanese cultural understanding is always plus for every stage. So let me add a practical example at the end. If you look for job opportunity in your country, so not in Japan, and you find something, then please go to the website of the subsidiary and try to find out where they are selling their products. Only in the country where the subsidiary is located or other countries as well. In this case, then the subsidiary is over stage 4. And to recognize whether stage 5, 6 or 7, this is more difficult. Maybe you can only find out this information during a job interview, or you make very good deep research, website of the headquarters and a website of the subsidiary, so compare with those websites and what kind of products they have. And if there are many dedicated products only for the specific market, then the subsidiary can be in stage 6, 7, 8. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching the video until the end. I hope you got useful information for your job hunting, and I really wish you a successful finding a job and application. Please don't hesitate to communicate with us. Please leave your comment what you think or what kind of topic you want to hear, or about this topic is fine too. Please leave your comment below, and push like or dislike is fine too. See you next time.